Fish friends, welcome back to Steve's Fish Room. I have another exciting group of fry here. These are Apistogramma D-37, along with 3 young platies as dither fish. So when I first got the Apistogramma D-37, they hid all the time. I put some guppies in there, and they got aggressive toward the guppies and were doing some fin nipping. I moved the guppies out. The Apistogramma D-37 just hid again. And so I put some platy in, and they seem to be doing just fine, no nipped fins. But the exciting thing here is the female in the center, and you can see this is a particularly beautiful female for Apistogramma. Most of the females look very similar from species to species. This one's got tiger stripes and just great yellow coloration, particularly when she's got fry, which she does. They are actually just in a 5-gallon tank that was really intended to be quarantined for them. Their new tank is a 20 long, and I haven't moved them because they were showing spawning behavior right after I got them. They had a little batch of fry. The fry disappeared. I'm hoping that was just a young mother thing. And I was ready to move them to their new home, and they were showing spawning behavior again. The female has a clay pot. You can kind of see it through the Java moss back to the right there. It's just a drilled clay pot. And she was back in there guarding, and I assumed she had eggs, and she did. So you can see we got a good number of fry, and in the video here I give them some live baby brine shrimp in a minute. Actually, probably a little bit too much on the heavy side. I've been a little bit nervous about using these 5 gallons. I've always kept fish in 10 gallons through 120 gallons. And most of the tanks in my fish room are 20 longs, which is a great tank. But I set this set of 4 5-gallon tanks up, primarily for killifish, but I had them all cycled, and so when I had the chance to get these D37s, I couldn't wait, and I got them and had this tank, all cycled and set up for them, and planned to move them after a few weeks, but didn't. And so you can see the baby brine shrimp there. I think that these fish will be probably too well fed. Might be time for a water change, but anyway, the babies are certainly going to get plenty to eat. So D37 is a species from Colombia. It was just discovered in 2017. There are a few different populations. They all come from slow-moving water, and with some tannins in it. So this tank, you can see there's some spawning mops in the back I just gave in case anybody needed cover, and then lots of Java moss. Did a sandy bottom. Most Apistos like that. They actually used to be classified as microgeophagus, so little earth eaters. But anyway, D37 doesn't have a scientific name. Its common name is the gill spot cichlid. I've never heard anybody call it that. I just see that online. So it's referred to as D37. The D numbers are all of the Apistogrammas that haven't been formally scientifically named yet. So it could turn out that there are a few different species within D37, since 3 distinct populations or so have been found to date. But they were just first discovered in 2017. They seem to be very unfussy, although they're shy. You have the pH right at 7, the temperature between 78 and 80. Because I was nervous about using the small tanks, I got some of those little ammonia checkers, and I test the water a little bit more often, but it's been really stable. It just has a small sponge filter in the back. I typically do 50% water changes weekly. I held off when they had the spawning behavior, and I'm holding off now because the fry are just so small. I'm going to wait a little while, but the water's real nice for them, despite my heavy feeding of brine shrimp and actually doing the narrative on this video several hours after shooting it, and there are no noticeable brine shrimp left. So I think that mom, dad, the platy for sure, and the fry are all well fed. But anyway, they're a particularly pretty species of Apisto. I'm really excited to have them and to watch these little guys grow up. The adults eat anything. I give them a few bug bites, usually in the morning, and give them some live baby brine shrimp when they have fry a couple times a day. And when they don't, they still get at least a dose of baby brine shrimp daily. And then I give them frozen foods in the evening. I do a mix of bloodworms and mysis shrimp. The TDS in the tank, I just tested it. It's about 140. I think I said the pH is a solid 7. And they're just happy fish. The male just hangs out in front pretty much all the time. I'm not sure when he finds time to spawn. He's just out waiting for food as long as they're dither fish. I've heard other accounts where they do grow less shy, though, over time. Anyway, thanks for watching.